Welcome back to the Expressions of Destiny podcast. This is Jennifer. Today is Monday, and I hope you all are having a wonderful holiday weekend. Today we are going to be tackling this topic of advertising. It's not something that I do. It's something that I have done. And so I want to tackle this question of, the whole advertising game. Is it for everybody? Is it a win-win for every single company, ministry, organization that is out there? Is it necessary? There's these moments where right now, if you asked a whole group of people who are in some way, shape, or form a part of business, they're business owners, they are, thinking about starting a business, or maybe you are full-time ministry, you're a nonprofit organization, at some point, every single organization has to think about what they're going to do in order to get their name or their cause, their mission and vision out there so that people know who they are and they know that they're there, that type of identity. And so I wanted to tackle this topic because honestly, it's not something that I really get excited about doing. It's not something that I feel a push or a pressure to do. And I'll explain, in just a moment why I feel that way. But it seems like right now in this time and age, there is just an overabundance of advertising for everything, advertising in every different form, advertising on different platforms and using different sources, and it's just overwhelming at times. And I believe that if you are in business, that overwhelm can really, really lead to confusion. We're not quite sure how we're supposed to do this. We're not quite sure why we're doing it. And so it leaves the business owner or that organization leader in a position where they are just kind of not even sure which direction they're supposed to be going, because we end up falling into this trap of following what everybody else is doing, making sure that we're doing every single thing that other company or business or individual is doing, and it may not align to what it is that is our vision and our purpose, leaving you kind of like creating this false identity of who you are, or maybe even creating a cringy type of atmosphere, as people are watching your ads. Let me just throw this out there. Have you ever been watching TV and all of a sudden the commercials come on, the different advertisements, and you're like, wow, that was a really great commercial or an ad. And then the next one that comes on is like, what did that even have to do with, the name of their company, their brand? It's just confusing. And you're sitting there trying to figure it out to the point where we actually try to give them the benefit of the doubt. And then we're trying to figure out how that thing that they were talking about fits into their brand and their company and what they offer. And you're still left sitting there going, I just don't get it. I know I have seen that plenty of times. And so it was just an opportunity that someone grabbed hold of and not really evaluating it and thinking really deep into, is this even going to make sense? Or am I just throwing something out there because I saw somebody else do it and it worked for them, but it has nothing to do with who you are and what your brand is? I know I just kind of jumped into this, and it'll make sense, but I just wanted to throw those questions out there first, because if you have ever been in a position where you've had to create some form of marketing, advertising for your business, I'm sure that you can agree that it is overwhelming, exhausting, and just quite confusing sometimes. So in my business, I don't really feel the need to jump on every platform. Now, granted, I do have a presence on several platforms. We are on Facebook, but more in a personal page type. We have a business page, but I just find that I reach more people on my personal feed. We are on Instagram. We are on LinkedIn. There's a couple of other sites that we just barely even use, but we're there. And so it's not this push to have to post every day or every other day, every 3 days or 5 times a day. There's not this need to try to figure out the most perfect timing of everything, because in our business, it's a client by client, very unique and very tailored to what the client is needing in the moment that I meet them. And so I guess you can say it's a word of mouth, or as I'm out, networking or meeting different people, and I'm able to share what it is that I do because they've asked. And then it becomes an open door for me to share with them how I can help their business be successful, how it can grow, how I can spend time with their employees and really share with them the importance of customer service and just how to really live their position, how to bring their position and their purpose in life together so that they are successful and that they grow and they understand what their purpose is there in that company. And so there's a lot of things, a lot of conversation that we get into. And so I've never really had a need to advertise. But I do want to share, let me back up. There are other companies, and I ask you this question as well. There are other companies out there that, I don't know if you've experienced this, but I have, where I meet them, I meet the owner, I meet someone who works for them. I may see them, online on a job post. And I'm thinking to myself, who are these people? I've never even heard of them. And I look them up, I research their business, I look at their mission and their vision and, their product, whatever it might be. And as I start to dive deeper, I'm thinking, I have never seen advertising on this company. I've never seen, anything on them. No commercials, no mail outs, no emails, nothing. And really the way that they reach people is if you go to their website and you enter in your email address, now they have a contact for you and they're able to communicate with you. I love that. But the other thing about it is you find out that they are so successful in who they are and what they do and what they provide to the customer or the client. And you're wondering how. You say you're a multi-million-dollar company or agency or foundation, and I barely even know who you are. I ask other people and they've never heard of you. And somehow you are successful. And it was all without the aid of marketing. Of advertising. There's different ways to market, but of those specific advertisements, where you pay for the ads, you have them show up all over the web, all over the social media. They have this presence without having to have that online presence, if that makes sense. And I am so fascinated with that because if you think about it, it's really a lot of word of mouth advertising that they're utilizing. One customer is happy with what they have provided. They go and tell a friend or family member or a colleague. That person, experiences the same thing. They go and tell someone else. And it just continues to grow their business. How long they've been in it is another question. They may have been doing this for years, decades, or it could be a new company that is just really, running at full speed and has found this instant success. One of the people that I admire and I love to use, in my examples is my father. He is a business owner. He has been for years. And all of his customers are word of mouth. It is a customer that absolutely loves what he does and tells someone else. And they're also repeat customers. Every time that they need something else built or constructed within their home, they call my father. And if my dad is able to do it, and work on it, which he most likely he will because they're repeat customers. They become like family now at this point. He'll do it. And if he can't, he has, a recommendation or another person that he might refer to them just in the moment because he may be overwhelmed with, several other projects. And so that's another example. I want to share this other example personally to, in our business is although we have our website where we focus on employee coaching and customer service training and just helping businesses grow, we do have an online store that my daughters and I run, and it's just for fun. We have a store on our actual website now with specific products and brands that we've created, and then we have an Etsy store. Trying to kind of pull away from that Etsy store, because you always want to have a standalone store shop on your website. And not go between. But the Etsy store does very well. And so what happens is every time that I make a sale and the people, they purchase, I always send a thank you email. This is my form of advertising without having to pay for Etsy ads or Facebook ads, whatever else it is, Google ads. I don't have to pay for any of that. But what I do is I send a personal email, personalized to them, thanking them for their purchase, letting them know that I follow the process of their order, because it is print on demand. I follow the process of their order all the way from beginning to end. I'm available if they have any questions or concerns. They can reach out to me at any time. I will respond within 24 hours. And what I do is at the bottom I say, and for being our special customer, I want to give you a 10% off link to use every time that you come back to our store. It's a thank you for being our wonderful customer, and it never expires. So if you'd like, you can share this link on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, for other people to click on and use if they want to shop in our store, because it helps our business grow. I can't tell you that the customers that come through, and the first thing I notice when they place their order and I see that there was a discount applied, I go and I check it, and it's that thank you link. So the next thing that I do is I go and check to see if they are one of our previous customers, if they're a repeat customer, because it'll show me, if they've purchased before, and they're not. And that is one of the most beautiful feelings, is to know that someone bought from us at some point. They love the product. They love the customer service. And I usually do get emails back from them that say thank you so much. And we get our reviews posted. But it was because they took that link and they shared it with someone else, either through email, if it was a friend or a family member, or maybe they met someone and they were wearing the product and the person said, I have a link, let me send it to you. Or they shared it on social media. And that's how that customer came to purchase from our store. Now, I love that form of advertising the most, because you are making, or I should say you are taking the initiative to send a personalized thank you to that customer, that client, and that is supporting your business. And in that thank you, you're telling them, you know what, I appreciate so much you being a part of our family by purchasing from our store, that I want to give you this lifetime discount so that you can benefit from being a part of us, and you can share with others. Because if you share with others, it's okay. We want you to share that discount with someone else so that they can come and experience the same thing that you did. It's quite funny, because I actually had a husband and a wife purchase from me one time, and I saw that the husband's purchase came through, and then a couple of days later I saw that the wife's purchase came through. I don't know these people, but when I saw the last name, I said, no way, that's kind of like really interesting that these two customers within the same week have the same last name. So I went to go and check the purchase information, and it was the same address. And I thought, I wonder if the husband bought this item for the wife for Christmas. It was close to Christmas time. And then the wife just couldn't wait and had to go and purchase it herself. But at some point she probably showed her husband and said, I really, really want this. And then came to me and was asking, several questions about the product, how to pick the right size. It was a pair of leggings. And so I'm thinking, it's definitely for the woman because she's so invested in this, and the man just made the purchase and was done. It's like no other communication, nothing. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm definitely going to get a return on this. I'm pretty sure after Christmas when, she opens her gift, she's going to be like, oh my gosh, I ordered the same thing. And he's going to say, well, you should have waited. Women are impatient sometimes because we want what we want. And I got no returns whatsoever, no messages. The only thing I got was a 5-star review talking about how wonderful our communication was and our customer service. What they decided to do with the other pants, leggings, I don't know. Maybe she was like, oh, yay, I have 2 pairs now. Maybe they gifted the second pair to somebody else in the family. You just never know. But it's just knowing that the way that you respond to your customers is going to be the best opportunity for advertisement in the future for your company. And this is why I harp so much on customer service above and over all of the other strategies and formulas and algorithms, everything that everybody else is talking about. It all comes back to the customer service, because it doesn't matter how many times you advertise. It doesn't matter how many, systems you have that you can guarantee will work. If they do it exactly the way that you tell them, it doesn't matter. All the other stuff does not matter if your customer service isn't on point. Because you might be able to draw them in, but you won't be able to retain them. And that is so important. And so I wanted to just kind of touch on this advertising issue because, I tell you, if I open up my laptop and I'm working for the day and all I'm going to get is pop-ups. All I'm going to get are these, ads in between every article that I'm reading. To be honest with you, it's a little annoying sometimes, especially if you're on a blog site or something. There's just an ad after ad after ad, and you have to keep closing the little boxes so that you can get around and read what it is that you came to that site to read. And then you have a lot of advertising that just doesn't make sense. If you focus on your customers first and that customer relationship, the advertising will be organic. It'll be something that you don't even have to put a whole lot of effort into. You may not even have to hire someone to create a whole marketing plan. Marketing plans are great. I don't disagree with them. But it's knowing how to do it, what's most important, how to link it to your business's identity, and what it's going to offer, in relationship to your customers and the relationship you have with them. So the bottom line to this episode is, when it comes time, if you have not already thought about advertising for your business because you want to see that growth, especially those business owners that are new, you're just now starting your business, or those that have a plan, you're an entrepreneur, you're ready to just run with it. Stop for a moment and really think about the best way and the best road to take with advertising. How much of it do you need? How does it need to be done? Which platforms are going to benefit you the most, or if you even need it at all? Trust me, there are a lot of companies out there that don't need it at all. They just do what they do, their purpose, their mission, their actions, it all speaks for them, and they are so successful. So there is not a one-size-fits-all out there, and I just wanted to come and remind you of that today. It's not one-size-fits-all. So get creative. Think about your identity, not everybody else's, and then form a plan that is going to work for you, not what worked for everybody else, but what is going to work for you and what is really going to show the heart of your company. So that is it for me today, you guys. I thank you so much again for coming and joining me today. I know this episode was a little bit longer than what we've been doing, but it's a big topic, and it's not one that can be tackled in the 20 minutes that we have already spent on this. But just to know that sometimes we just got to stop and think before we move on what everybody else is offering and every other system that's out there. Stop and think about who you are, what your company is meant to do, the purpose and the identity of you and your vision. And so I will talk to you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and God bless.